This Christmas is special because we get to be home with our family. Originally, when this all started with Tara, they said she wasn't going to make it, and so our family of 6 was going to be turned into a family of 5. Tara was born happy and healthy, and a week later, she got a virus that turned into another virus, that turned into another virus, and she went into total body sepsis with multi-system organ failure. Her heart shut down, her lungs shut down. She kept having heart attack after heart attack after heart attack. You never know how strong your faith is until you're sitting there watching the nurses and the doctors clear the room and they pull out the shock cart. You never know how strong your faith is and what Christ is all about, especially, and just the miracle that knowing in your heart that God's going to heal her, but waiting and wondering what's going to happen when they're pulling out the shock cart and the nurses pulling around her, and then having, cutting your baby open to be able to put a line into her heart, and just seeing her intubated with the tube down her throat and drugged out and paralyzed. You never know. You never know how you're going to react to that.
Well, I'm on the A team, and I work with Setup and Teardown with Chris Garrig and all the usual suspects. And, it's a chore. Every week we get up early, and we start early, and we're the last ones to leave. And so, you go in and out, and you wonder, what's my purpose? What's my reason for doing this? And then someone gets really sick on you, and other people started making phone calls. I didn't have to do anything. I just went and stayed with my kid, and our house got moved twice. First we moved from one home, and the other home wasn't set up yet. This house wasn't here for us yet. And then they put it all in storage, and then they came and took it all from there and put it in here for us. And it was really neat, because I think that's the first time I ever had a group of people actually help me move. And it was the first time I didn't actually do anything. They took care of everything for us. So it was a real blessing, because we weren't quite prepared at the time we got the house for me to be thinking and trying to put things together on my own. I needed a lot of help. And fortunately, not only was the church there and the A team, just everybody that goes to church with us was looking for a way to help. They all really wanted to make sure that we weren't left, in the dark. They knew this was a bad time, and it wasn't like a mystery. Everybody knew what was going on, and so they all moved mountains to help us. I'm just so thankful we didn't have to try and go through this without having a church body with us. That would have been devastating.
But not only that, but it was a real blessing to the nurses too, because they, some of the nurses were Christians and some of them weren't, and but when they heard what was going on, that your church did what? I can't believe it. I mean, people have been here every day bringing you guys food, and then they go and move you too. They pack your boxes, they move you to a storage. They couldn't believe it, and what a testimony, not only to the church, but also Bob and Sherry, on how they really are real people, completely in love with God, and they're passionately serving Him, and not only passionately serving Him, but passionately serving the people in the church that needed them. When there's needs in the church, we needed help. There's no way to get around it. We needed help, and the church came and they rallied around us, and they passionately served us for Him. What a testimony that is.
Yeah.
I think we got through this time with just the faith and knowing that God was there, and He was ultimately in control, and that He wouldn't put us through any situation that we couldn't handle. It says that in His Word, and we relied on that, and we knew. And my whole adult Christian life, feel like I've trained for this situation exactly how it happened. Not that I would have wanted to wish this upon myself, but my whole adult Christian life, you pray and you meditate and you read the scriptures and you read His Word and you meditate on those things, and you do this so you can hear His voice, and you hear His voice in the good times. And then when you get pulled into a situation like we had, I knew His voice, and I knew what his voice sounded like. And so when the doctors came up to me that first day and said, you need to go say goodbye to your baby, and God told me in my head, he says, would I let you go through that situation? Would I put you in that situation? Your baby will live, your baby will live. And all I kept hearing is, your baby will live, she will survive, she will survive. She'll grow up to be a mighty woman of God. And when you hear those things, and the doctors are talking to you here, but you know God's voice. I've trained to hear his voice. I've trained. I know his voice. And I know it so clearly that when the doctors were telling me that, I said, no, you don't know my God. You don't know my God. He's stronger than that, and she will live. And I told the doctors, and I said, you won't understand what happened at the end of this, but you'll have to believe in something. You'll have to know that there was a miracle that just happened. You don't have to know my God, but you'll know him at the end, because you'll know that there's no other explanation for this. And she's here, because she did what God told me that she was going to do.
We are sons.